OSP. No, 2 media. Maybe only.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the OSP declares Kenneth Ofori-Atta a wanted person.
Please, let's not do that. 2 minutes shall be said. Oh, sure. Please.
What would him say? Wakota was southern France.
It means that what didn't work Kangura. What didn't work Kangura. Or, to put it simply, Wajibam. Or in the Hausa language, Otilo. Or to put it the more simpler way, Yagudu. It's as simple as that, Mr. Speaker. The same Ken Ofori-Atta made your family members have free school.
They made me can't check Ken Ofori-Atta and say 20.
Owusia Ghana TV enra ebeye deja say OSP Office of the Special Prosecutor e dey abetu dwa say ohia owura Ken Ofori-Atta former Finance Minister say ohwehwe na ohunu enti o declare no wanted.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, the OSP declares Kenneth Ofori-Atta a wanted person. He is a fugitive from justice.
Now, Obeso Chese Ken Ofori-Atta Edwane, former Finance Minister, Wajifum, Chese Yeshana Huno, and Tiano and Fanemra. Inani say OSP Chese, a normal 9 and 9 num eso cases, 9 and 9 num eso and a wojina so abo Ken Ofori-Atta suspect say Sikahons and Sembini said the normal CB course no, eso ba normal investigation and normal or can ebine National Cathedral, Almighty National Cathedral, a hons and some say to normal Ababe Cathedral no said Kasem siko so a ekowie se cathedral no kra na enwie peye na eka na yede ejayen eno ho na ofre Finance Minister say omra na omoyi ne ho ano.
Procurement of contractors and materials and activities and payments in respect of the National Cathedral project.
The Tosuminu over 300 ambulances are Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo ne na ban e de baye omo award contract no ema Service Ghana Auto Group say omo emfa ambulance yimra say ye be repair say ye be hihye ama ye kama ye de ma ambulance service for na omo de aye adwuma no ehun sem na OSP e kire say even contract no kra ye de ma Service Ghana Auto Group no ehun asem eni sika asem bi a emire bi ye be kaye a onabo okujetu ablakwa kra ko rezi baye ema Service Ghana Auto Group for Edina say enye no kre.
Activities and payments in respect of a contract awarded by the Ministry of Health, initially commenced by the Ministry for Special Development Initiatives to Service Ghana Auto Group Limited for purchases and after-sales service and maintenance of 307 Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 305 CDI ambulances for the National Ambulance Service.
The Tosumiensa ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana, any Beijing company, Beijing Xiao Chen Technology, Omoboa Emma Electricity, Power Management, Sedebeya, Power and Kofu area, the Yelusu, and the Beboa Amagana, Enya Electricity Power, Ejinaso, and a whole contract, Nana Omone, ECG, Elqua, OSP Chese, Ura Ken Ofori-Atta, Nani Hubomu, no Omeche, the Intia Sa contract, no terminate ye, or Mananya Juma, na Onchirimu. And the
termination of a distribution, loss reduction, and associated network improvement project contract between the Electricity Company of Ghana Limited and Beijing Xiao Chen Technology BXC.
The also 4 9 Strategic Mobilization Limited Ghana for omo ene boa ema taxes bia a free port, a free petroleum, a free mineral sources nyina no omo ne boa track say taxes bia hia say sa bia no obi etua no accurately say the bia ebeduru aban no ho na aban no e de aye adwuma it eba softwares ne hardware bia ehia digitalization ehonsem bia ehia ma taxes bia say Ghana Revenue Authority Meji free sabia petroleum ports any mineral sources in no or mutimi bua eno na OSP kire say owura Ken Ofori-Atta emra na omunye investigation taxes bia ho kwa atwe eno ma bia na ehia say ewie peye no omra.
Contractual arrangements between Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited and the Ghana Revenue Authority for the stated objective of the enhancement of revenue assurance in the downstream petroleum sector, upstream petroleum production, and minerals and metals resources value chain.
The tosunum taxes na ho nsem a taxes ni bi wo honom na obi wo tua tax a otimi tua broso overpaid taxes any taxes bi e say refund ema companies na na say obi a ehia refund bia no refund ni bi wo honom a ho nsem kakra eno na OSP chair say ora Ken Ofori-Atta Finance Minister former omra na omeyi ne ho ano e was taxes yi
payments out of and utilization of the tax refund account of Ghana Revenue Authority.
Into way anama OSP declare Ken Ofori-Atta wanted. Now before so be declare wanted no. Now we declare amane letters no chere se omra no meyi ne ho ano eno na ora Ken Ofori-Atta man lawyer OSP chere se ne ho dodo no ne ho mfa no into odu kwan okọ na wakọ akọhwe ne ho yare na ontimi nche time a obeba indefinitely. He is out of the jurisdiction into ontimi ma eno na OSP esa chokoma ora Ken Ofori-Atta on the 5th February chere say sansema a woka say ontimi hunu time obeba no eno de onyi ntum da no omu hia no den into 5th February 2025 na sa time wodi kan amema omo ho letters na we na ni breba ya o address to Ken Ofori-Atta wo chere say in redirection to attend the office of the Special Prosecutor by a letter dated 24th January 2025 no wodi kan amansa letter no. You were informed that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses regarding 4 cases in respect of which the OSP considered you a suspect. Further, you were directed to attend in person the OSP at 6 Hall Selassie Avenue South Ridge, Accra on Monday 10 February 2025 at 10 GMT for interviewing. Inti OSP no catch and say Omra 10th of February enra chi Omra na omeyi ne ho ano in person ohia lawyer bia ansem bia was by a letter dated 31st January 2025 the law firm Minka Premo Osebonsu Bruce Catlin at Partners for Justice Kusi Minka Premo Esquire informed us per your instruction that you are out of the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds and that the firm would notify us of your arrival in the country in aid of rescheduling your personal attendance at the OSP. Further, the firm offered its willingness to provide the OSP with any information we may require to aid in the investigation until your arrival in the country. Into Ken Ofori-Atta catching lawyer for say omonkanche OSP say okwa akọhwe no yare no nim time a obeba nanso say information bi ohia bia no lawyers no eba be provide amom. Now OSP to also say the OSP does not need or require notification from your lawyers of your arrival in the jurisdiction. The OSP acknowledge your lawyer's gracious offer to provide us with information in aid of the investigation. However, your personal attendance at the OSP is required. The OSP declined your request to be away from the jurisdiction indefinitely on medical grounds. On your say-so, you are directed to indicate by close of business on Monday, 10 February 2025, a reasonable date of your return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP. If you fail to do so, the OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure your return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP at our own choosing. And to OSP, HSS, Sansam na all can say indefinitely on my own time of a ban or hen hoyari and on the Omunyin Tumukra, no Muhiano, Monday 10th, Omra, no Mayin Huano, and yes, sir, Omobe decided the Ombeso Muye Bia, and I'll be told you I'll be declared wanted that Sebi MPP minority HSS, Ayenim Guasie, say, Omobeki Kasan seminar, and no Yabeka Kuti. Special Prosecutor had letter no come out Ken Ofori-Atta on the 5th February na this year no and on the 7th 2 days later omo estampo so a lawyer of Ken Ofori-Atta HS received omo address to Kissi Agyebeng the Special Prosecutor omo HS DS redirection to attend the office of the Special Prosecutor. Further to our letter dated 31st January 2025 no more the kind the letter akoma OSP said the American no na OSP responded say on 31st January 2025. In response to your dated 5th February 2025, we write as solicitors for Kenneth Ofori-Atta in respect of the above subject, which was addressed to our client and in which we were copied. Please find attached here to document indicating that our client is receiving medical attention at Mayo Clinic in the USA, detailing his appointment and timelines suggestive of a post-match date when our client may be able to be in Ghana. Enti omo chere say omo attach letter na ebekwa akokan efi Mayo Clinic na ora Ken Ofori-Atta receive na yi ni medical attention na omo hwa said the normal see course no ebia after match, within match or after match na ebia obetimi aba Ghana. We shall be grateful if any attendance in person required by your August office is fixed, taking into account the medical report from the doctors. Into omo chere say omo hia ora Ken Ofori-Atta on consider medical report ya omo de atachi said the beya oba obetimi ene no na OSP betimi na di dwuma eno ti letter no enso enie Mayo Clinic for and the by 507-284-2511 mayoclinic.org. Omo address ne Google so no Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta and omo chere say or hospital to whom it may concern. Say, hello dear sir or madam, Mr. Kenneth Ofori-Atta has been seen and evaluated at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. His medical condition necessitated that he will stay and follow up on his appointment and undergoing further testing and management, including possible surgical intervention in March of 2025. Please contact me with any further question. Almost sign Ahmed Abdullahim, MD, Managing Director, Sector of International Medical in Rochester, Minnesota. Enti medical report ka hon. When you OSP Kissi Agyebeng still no me declare Ken Ofori-Atta wanted. Fi say ni medical report ni sa no man na wo kan de me de me nya sure debi emuna wo chese enkofo bi abowra ni fie pese ase omo be nhwehwemu so omo omo ye den which is unclear no amanfo bi susu say ono OSP ni nkofo asoma man nkofo abowra ni fie say de oye sisili adapa ne omo aka no enye no kreda say ono na ye sa enu nti ebia staged ebia omo na ahihye ho no mbese omo de enoma ehye no CCTV images na etwagu a armed men, military men ene omo hye normal attire omo enam efie ho no mo a etwagu a na trend pa OSP chese ensem a omo ka no owura Ken Ofori-Atta ene ni nkofo ka efa ne yare ye ho se o se okọ na ebia onyim time obeba ne sa no mani nyina no enye no kore ene sa nkofo ebowura ni fie a ye hu de omkoye wo ho ni nyina no ohun ni se stage nhihye ho bi keke.
Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers wanted to know, and they stated that they were informed by the household of Mr. Ofori-Atta that in the morning of Tuesday 11 February 2025, that is yesterday, 12 men comprising 1 police officer, 4 military men and 7 other men in plain clothing visited Mr. Ofori-Atta's house, and that by threat of force they were able to enter Mr. Ofori-Atta's house, and they undertook an exercise purporting to be a search of every room, office, gym, and other spaces in the house. Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers then inquired if the OSP could confirm that the actions of the 12 men were the instance of the OSP, so as to enable them to decide if a complaint to the police would be unnecessary. Mr. Ofori-Atta's lawyers then prayed for a prompt response from the OSP to prevent imposter action. We are now responding promptly, and we have chosen the course of answering Mr. Ofori-Atta's inquiry publicly at this briefing, considering the circumstances surrounding the purported raid at Mr. Ofori-Atta's house, media reportage of the purported raid, and in light of the reckoning that some media houses have stated emphatically that the OSP was behind the purported raid, and in light of the reckoning that the purported raid is being made to appear as if it was some untoward action by the OSP stemming from some contrived vendetta held by the OSP against Mr. Ofori-Atta. So, here we go. And this is our response to Mr. Ofori-Atta directly, but through you, the media. Mr. Ofori-Atta, the OSP did not raid your house on Tuesday, 11 February 2025, or on any other day. Mr. Ofori-Atta, the OSP did not cause any persons, however uniformed or bedecked, to raid your house on Tuesday, 11 February 2025, or on any other day. Mr. Ofori-Atta, that could not have been the OSP, and that is not our style. If the OSP enters your premises, you will not be in doubt as to whether it was the OSP that had come there, and your lawyers will not have cause to do an inquiry ascertaining whether it was the OSP. We have our unique methods of conducting searches, and we have uniquely designed insignia identifying ourselves, and not just by a statement that we are from the OSP. This is one such main insignia. A person cannot just show up and say they are from the OSP. It's cheap, anyone can say that. But when the OSP enters your premises, you will definitely know by our insignia, our methods, and the way we identify ourselves that this is the OSP. Our intelligence points us to state that the purported raid on Mr. Ofori-Atta's residence was staged, or at best, an imposter action in an attempt to court disfavor for the OSP and to derail the investigation. You know us very well. The OSP is never deterred by such occurrences, and the investigations will continue as by law prescribed. These occurrences and the OSP's intelligence, which will not be revealed at this time for fear of compromising the investigation, are very instructive as not to put premium on Mr. Ofori-Atta's alleged imminent peril should he travel back to the jurisdiction. In any case, the purported medical letter transmitted through his lawyers to the OSP did not state so or demonstrate so. The OSP is unconvinced that the purported medical letter transmitted by Mr. Ofori-Atta through his lawyers to the OSP represents a medical report to the effect that Mr. Ofori-Atta is incapacitated or is so sickly and invalid to the extent that he is physically unable to return to the jurisdiction without imperiling his life. No serious law enforcement agency, and certainly not the OSP, will be convinced that the purported medical letter stops it from demanding the physical appearance of Mr. Ofori-Atta before it in the described circumstances. We are of the firm conviction here that this is only a ruse employed by Mr. Ofori-Atta in aid of his intention to avoid returning to the jurisdiction and to personally answer questions in respect of the investigations. We are convinced that the real intention of Mr. Ofori-Atta is what was communicated to the OSP in the very first letter transmitted by his lawyers on 31 January 2025. That is, he has left the jurisdiction indefinitely. That was what was communicated to us in the first instance, and that is his intention. He has no intention of willingly returning to the jurisdiction. That much is clear to us. Consequently, ladies and gentlemen of the media, the OSP declares Kenneth Nanaya Ofori-Atta a wanted person. He is a fugitive from justice. The OSP will take all necessary legal steps to secure his return to the jurisdiction and attendance at the OSP. And this is to Mr. Ofori-Atta. You have two choices. You can either return to the jurisdiction voluntarily, or the OSP will enforce your return.
Inti asem we no Afia Schwar Exposɛs ora Ken Ofori-Atta or France inti den amunim baby o mamonye te se dia asem munim baby o France inti monko hwehwe no na monfa ne mra
chese muni buobi amagana fo na moya John niema moya John mudi soldier for Ken Ofori-Atta fie Abraham munim se wakwata was southern France. Abraham munim afia wo shem was southern France. Ada na mochola tabraka na force mo hwehwe Ken Ofori-Atta na mo ko Gabi ho ena Gabi na na monye ne national security briefing na wasn't it Gabi? I hate it when I see that you have an attempt to play with my goddamn intelligence, because we are not stupid. You people are stupid. Mo ko chia no ma tutu ne ho a na ma fa boy tro kayano. Boy tro kayano, and then the special prosecutor no ano wa phone mo kan tell some se wonu mo jaduro na ni mo nyadu boy tro kayano mo kwa shesha na mama boy tro kayana be deliver. Do you think we are stupid? Do you think we are stupid? John Mahama and Gabi Ochidako knows where Ken Ofori-Atta. Now, many power number de be white. Ne born he wants to be identified. No, man, chicken Ofori-Atta. The animal be
Omanhene kwabna sante HSA aden Kissi Agyebeng we nyame aden ti na obi si oyare na wo so obeba Ken Ofori-Atta he an wo kwa wodimi mama woni nye investigation na fe wo ye ho te se na so ono de o kan se Ken Ofori-Atta ye ka wontie no debi
now mra me test
Obi.
e wo Ghana to confirm.
Why should we talk like that?
Aden
Why? Na OSP no nyare ana. Wakwa investigation wo say asem na ye echo no e kontumpo ana.
It's one question we can.
But until that thing is done, no. Why? Me doctor actually me chida kwan. What show dem me be ye?
Yes.
Sebi di enkwa. The power that you have, say throw no dear, you can pull him from everywhere in the country, in the world. So why? Now we've gotten to the point that if people pay what he has said, yaria, OSP releasing the 2 minute brew bibia so ntino bi cry yare cry na. Chinchiri ya fancy hwiche mu ana ya fancy be fancy to pass ya fancy brana. Or contrary, are you big to what the doctor has said that? On can say. So we know that Ken Ofori-Atta is deceiving the public. No,
because I shall letter we in so law firm not the medical report we in letter and command on the 7th. And Agyebeng, and 12th, and then no press conference. Meaning say from 7th now in Saka letters you know. I don't say be no so behind the scene.
But you cannot also come and give us half information. Hey, now the club be fugitive obi. Yeah, them come law school be there. Oye nipa, yeah, you shall know. Oye nipa bonfo. Yes.
Wajani akotete.
Now only lawyer for din komo. A lawyer for that me akwa kire baby nipa na oyare no se owo. Na na momia say adwini butai bi we kire say. Ebetima to me. Until we prove secretary na doctor na tro dia ba no. Eye kontompo.
Yes.
Until we prove that you Ken Ofori-Atta otiapo yie.
And on person obeba.
Na dey 2 minutes dey mama who say OSP.
No 2 minutes.
Maybe onyanyame. Please let's not do that. 2 minutes kwaro wo no e se obi ase.
Oh sure.
Please. Ada ni eye inside no. One country. Now lawyer tro who be wajina my name e dey me krata koma OSP. Me yare. O press conference so ntima kan kire say sa yare na me ya no me boa e nkotompo. Wako check your hospital, the doctor and credit incomo. Why do you do that? Yes, it's something good play mumres. Now the person will say. But you know, people say, are there personal vendetta? That's what is coming across now. Match na Agyebeng. Match na Agyebeng.
Because our lawyers say communication almost say obetimi a fixed date be in March. Because March now we share hospital we no maka say
obi. Me san your man mama me so. Everyone you need so. We will all retire and go home. Apart from Nyami judgment, we will all retire and go home. And the truth is commercialized in this country. And no man said so. Who said that the OSP cannot invite anybody or suspect to say Nanam on Tuobi the Cabo Abre or Mino and Ejumekobi? Who said nobody can do that? But this is a clear point to say. My lawyer for my name. Whether you disagree with the lawyers or not, Moko Kotamun to mention Agyebeng. And maybe baby Agyebeng can say, yeah, PDB because more Agyebeng in Woody and more Maybe
OSP in so suspected foul play.
But your suspect. No. You cannot suspect. You cannot be emotional. You can just face the reality. The reality is that, is the man sick? Have you checked that the doctors in court are because you have the power to do everything you want to do in terms of investigation.
Maybe he's done that.
So why didn't you tell us?
In any press
Of course. Because no one coin. And you read all meanings into it. If indeed you have checked, and it is true that Ken Ofori-Atta on Yaribia. And another matter, on Ghana. Now, Branya Musu Assembly do Ujana Koshari. Any another matter, it's a good case. But we have to be fair in applying the law. Nila Foba, the Krataba, Uda to Kratana, Uma Hubre, Uncle Fosi, Akobo Chirahe, said Nina, who could be any mama who said your baby was a Jumana all year as a special prosecutor. You know what time is it?
I take 2 takeouts for me. Number 1, letter na lawyers nature say Papa will be out of the country indefinitely. We need to see that.
But where is that letter?
Me hui.
We have not seen any letter to the effect that Ken Ofori-Atta says that he will be out of the country indefinitely.
Yes.
What is our problem then?
Indeed, the only letter I have cited, the one the lawyers minka premomo etro command.
So let's
hospital report.
So let's push the OSP.
Yeah.
Come again.
Two things: the letter that says he will be out indefinitely, and number 2, OSP in Saka letter away from lawyers and a medical report. What was done to ascertain whether say papa no oyare and say onyare. Say onyare and obeka kire Ghana for nyina say oyare a different conversation altogether. And I think the OSP could have helped here nyina say yen saka letter away from the lawyers no. Yes ye kire ko yen hwem yen say papa no onyare no ka kire nyina say oyare. But to declare him wanted and a fugitive when that information in my say in front na o cannot dear. It's a bit.
Guys, worrying.
It's a bit.
Mr. Wesana, then, you know why? Charles Bisu, and we are wanted. Why? Do we get power to intimidate and just frustrate people? And say they are kokoso child or mubu ama for the gudana.
Daben.
Oh, yeah, Daben. What they also the crowd? They are 7,000. The past and the present.
Chado.
It's still going on. And so see bebre, nipa bebre, see the pasa. I don't know. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, enemies. 16 regions, we are one. Why? Nima kopia wanzima, wa kopia whatever.
Ekuapem.
Ade ne nya baako. Baako yen so nche se sinto anamre ye obi dwumadi a wodi nima, yentimi correct and yentimi twina so. No, it can't be possible. We should desist from men with evil heart and evil intent. We should desist from that. People with selfish and greedy intent. We should get away. Naive people and ignorant people, get away. You should build a society that is based on love, truthfulness, probity, and accountability, and know that no condition is permanent. And I said, go for them, so new be an amebua. Send the power for Naba. Say agriculture is new be amebua. Send the power for Naba. Say president to new, send the power for Naba. On better on copim zomiwana. The Uye Biano. Zasu Sukruano. You're careful.
But knowing the OSP, no, before he holds a press conference, now on crossing T's and daughter eyes.
Obi na OSP now okay. The OSP no again kwa. Yenim so a successful law person while in the career and the production program. But so nipa.
Oh nipa.
But obi na what something come see and can do with you. So lawyer for trouble OSP. Ah me can wo da wa wo tie so ahonhom ete. No was at o yare mpa so say ye declare say wo no wo dwane afri Ghana because of krono awabo. Can you imagine? Ya mo menye careful. Mo ma yenye careful. Because how Diana Hamilton in as intimidate that. Yemmo sir Agyebeng Dominic. I comes was the here for.
Why comes to more port? And Omani port. Ghana link.
I've heard
of make icons as a way na port like port newo.
Yeah, me
technology we use to port.
Me brother agent to her.
Okay.
Na osi omo introduce a lot of things be on ma amasika semno. Ghana sika semno. I think they serve as a check. I don't know much about it, but they serve as a check. So I'm not surprised that Omoka ICOMS makes trade facilitation seamless. GRE4. I'm not surprised. Iti yen cut it out. That nipa in that interface in free, you know, and sometimes how they are also paying their quota to ensure Ghana moves to the next level in terms of revenue generation. So what I say, it cannot be the owners alone. So what I say, a good job done. So what I say, it nyame the chair fiada nyoma OSP no say akoso nyina no on MPA papa na no kane no.
Sikani mu edu.
Yewura kan Ken Ofori-Atta. Nyoma akoso nyina no. Afe na obi wadaroma won so aben wo sa abeanim no e ma ye entity ani adesua. Ifiada
because in relation with releases on National Cathedral.
And I'm saying that if you are nyame adoma sanko ne bidi. They make me can check Ken Ofori-Atta and say 20
and or one etikopo.
Asem you do parliament. Mpenfo webre ene bobo asem ho a chese na minority de ye omo ya se OSP declare Ken Ofori-Atta wanted na ma akoye sebi impredu asa kromfo bia ye pena achi no eno ena John Jinapo chese ono saa na nkofo bi bowura ni fie a chese ye nsem bebre nti majority ni de omo hu ni se wura Ken Ofori-Atta eba na oba no mo ye hwehwemu a enye boni bia nti se de si course e wo parliament emu kakra.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me start with a Ghana Web report, and it is dated, Mr. Speaker, 2017, Friday, 28th July 2017. AK-47 wielding corps raid John Jinapo's home. Mr. Speaker, 5 police officers believed to be from the National Security on Friday raided the home of former Deputy Power Minister, Mr. John Jinapo, in search of documents related to the controversial $550 Ameri deal. Mr. Speaker, this very house, this very house, approved the Ameri deal. Mr. Speaker,
What is it?
Speaker, I thank you. Earlier on, I had tried to. I think it's important we set the parameters right. Let it go into the records that nobody's afraid of this subject matter. And the leader says that he's cautioning. Nobody's afraid. Nobody has anything to hide. Now, the point I want to make is that, Speaker, yes, when we are debating, we make reference to other sources of information. Let it be put on record that any matter that anybody wants to reference, it should be tabled. It should be tabled. Speaker, if our colleague has some source of information, let that information be tabled before he can proceed on same subject matter. He can just get up and say that Ghana Web. Table it. Let him table it. No, he should table it. Anybody gets up and say Ghana Web, he should table it. Speaker, I insist. Let him table it. Then he can take his source serious.
Honorable John Jinapo.
Mr. Speaker,
you already spent 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, that's most unfair. That's most unfair. I mean, you can't do this to me, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are a leader, and you should know that when something is public record, especially in this house, we do not tender any evidence. Professor Mike Okwe, then Speaker, made a ruling on the matter in this chamber. You were seated here. Professor Mike Okwe wrote to the CID in respect of this matter. And so what other evidence do you want me to tender when it's captured in the Hansard? Anything captured in the Hansard, you don't tender any evidence. Mr. Speaker, I am saying that on that fateful day, Mr. Speaker, on that fateful day, when my house was raided by AK-47 wielding national security operatives, when they banged on my door, creating fear and panic, sending my 6-year-old child into a state of hysteria, into a state of fear. We had members here. They never commented on it. And I commend Professor Michael Kwe on that day when he stood up and ruled that what they were doing was wrong. Mr. Speaker, they took my phone, they took my laptops, and took it to the United Kingdom to investigate me. Today, a very simple matter. You are scared of it. Mr. Speaker, let me explain something. The OSP has declared Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta as a fugitive. As a fugitive. Mr. Speaker, in our local language, fugitive, in our local language, it means that or to put it simply, wajibam, or in the Hausa language, otilo, or to put it in the more simpler way, yagudu. It's as simple as that, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, we should not be afraid of accountability. As public officials, when they took my laptop, it got to a point they couldn't even open the iPhone. I told them I was willing to come and use my fingerprint. It was then and there that they told me that the phones had been taken to the United Kingdom. I had to give them the password. Eventually, the very Ameri that I was accused of, a minister was dismissed because it came here padded by almost $800 million. Mr. Speaker, on this auspicious day, on this day of reckoning, on this day of accountability, the only thing I can say is that we wish the man in white,
5 minutes.
the best of luck.
Is up.
But Mr. Speaker,
5 minutes is up.
The finance minister should come here and settle the scores as far as
5 minutes is up.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes. Honorable member for Bimbila, you have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, we are building a democracy. The honorable member who just spoke said gun-wielding policemen raided his home. That is what a democracy is. Police people. My brother, you don't use soldiers to raid somebody's home in a democracy. Yes. Sit down. I will wait.
Honorable members, I am not giving the floor to anybody on point of order. Please.
Mr. Speaker.
Please, let's tolerate each other. Please.
Mr.
Yes.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let them be informed. Let them who stand up be informed that by 4 a.m. on the 7th of this, January, there was no defense minister in Ghana. Let them be informed. Let them be informed. Let them be informed that nobody in Ghana, let them be informed that the gentleman, tell the gentleman here that he's just been nominated Deputy Minister of the Republic of Ghana. You are no more in a position to be shouting. Respect yourself. You are in government today. Mr. Speaker, let them know that by 4 a.m., when soldiers and police entered here to keep order, there was no Minister of Defense in Ghana. Be educated yourselves. Mr. Speaker, I still want to repeat. Let me repeat to my colleague that in a democracy, you do not use soldiers to raid somebody's home, especially when that person has told you, that I am not in the country and I'll report when I get back. Ofori-Atta wrote to the OSP that, look, I am not in the country, I've received the invitation and I will come back and report to you for any investigation. You have no right, Mr. Speaker, you have no right to send soldiers to raid a man's house when he's not there. When he has told you that I will come, I'm out of the country. It is worse than armed robbery. In fact, to the extent that I have seen pictures of Richard Japa, who has just been forgiven of his sins, raiding somebody else's house. What business has that man in the house of a man who is supposed to be traveled outside? This is not the democracy we are building.
Thank you.
It is wrong for John Mahama, who just won an election, to try to use soldiers to intimidate people.
Thank you very much.
We will not agree today.
Thank you
we
very
will not
much.
agree tomorrow. We are not cowards.
Thank you.
We will account to anybody who wants us to account.
Thank you very much. Now, yes.
Mr. Speaker, the former defense minister in his concluding statement, mentioned one Mr. Jakwa and said that somebody who has just been forgiven of his sins. Mr. Speaker, he has never proven that the guy committed a sin. He has never proven that the man committed a sin. So you cannot say that somebody who has just been forgiven of his sins, nobody forgave him of any sin because nobody proved any sin. So, Mr. Speaker, the man is not here. He should withdraw that part of his statement. He should withdraw that part of his statement.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the case against Richard Jakwa, the appeal, and the current finance minister was withdrawn by the current president. The appeal was withdrawn by the current president. Allow the court to deal with the matter. Allow the court to deal with the matter. And let's see whether you have sins or you don't have sins. Allow the court to deal with the matter.
So
Mr. Speaker, allow the court to deal with the matter. And let's see whether there are sins or there are no sins.
So have you...
But if you want me to withdraw the word forgive, I'll withdraw that word. But I say to you that allow the courts to decide whether a man is guilty or not.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, Honorable Member for Bolgatanga, is it Central or Central? Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am very sad that in our country, the biggest perceived enemy of our economy is being defended the way my colleagues are doing. And everybody knows. And everybody knows. No. Everybody knows. Everybody knows.
Honorable Adongo, how did you come by that?
Mr.
That
Speaker,
is the biggest.
Mr. Speaker, if that makes him happy, I withdraw.
Please just withdraw. Honorable members.
Yes, the truth.
Honorable members, please. Honorable members, please, let's be guided by our all standing orders. This comment should not generate any debate. So please, let's make a statement that will invite no other person to come and challenge your statement. Please, let's be straightforward.
Mr. Speaker, you allowed very contentious, debatable issues to be raised here. And you are now asking me to respond to debatable arguments without debate? Is that what you are saying? You admitted all that debatable documents that he presented here. But I want to say that if you are a Ghanaian and you respect yourself, Ghana has gone into debt restructuring and embarrassed globally. Who did that? Ken Ofori-Atta did that. The Ghanaians who bought our bonds, went through a DDEP. Who did that? Ken Ofori-Atta. And so, if you get up to defend this person who has robbed us of our peace and happiness, and you expect me to debate this in a manner that is not debatable, I beg to differ. But Mr. Speaker, the truth is that the OSP has made it very clear that the state did not send anybody to Ken Ofori-Atta's house. And that was staged by Ken Ofori-Atta's own people.
Hold on. Yes, minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, with respect. Let the records reflect that this side of the House brought this matter up, questioning the mode of the action taken by state security operatives. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the argument being made by my colleague is to the effect that the man has committed some crimes and we are defending. Mr. Speaker, let it be known by him. Let it be known by him that as he is now in this chamber, he's aspiring into public office. He's seriously lobbying to be made a deputy minister. Mr. Speaker, he has not even been recognized. It is some of these unguarded statements. That is why he has not been recognized. Mr. Speaker, we are talking about the mode of the raid. The arrest. We are not saying that if the state has evidence against Ken Ofori-Atta, you shouldn't try him.
Well.
Mr. Speaker, if indeed there is an issue against him, the state can try him. Then he can have access to his lawyers.
Leader.
But you cannot accuse him that the man is guilty.
Leader, I'll come to you. Because you have your time so that you can address all these things, please.
Mr. Speaker, he has to withdraw that part of the submission.
Mr. Speaker, 2016, the economic Ken Ofori-Atta inherited was growing at 3.4%. Mr. Speaker, the inflationary rate was 15.4. Mr. Speaker, lending rate was about 40%. But for COVID, by 2019, we were growing 7%. Inflation was 7%. Under Ofori-Atta, we have been able to implement one of the most enviable pro-poor policies on the continent of Africa. How could you describe such a man because of global crisis? Your own former finance minister, do you know the description you are giving to your country? Do you know how you are placing Ghana on the globe because of politics? Do you know what you are doing to your country? Very soon, your ministers will be leaving Ghana for other places, for international assignments. And this is what they will read from your own lips. Mr. Speaker, we shouldn't allow this outmoded, colloquial, primitive politics to continue to destroy our country. Mr. Speaker, we are one people with one destiny as a nation. Mr. Speaker, I am only advising the House.
Honorable Sivinamwa, did I hear you say primitive politics?
No, I'm talking about Ghana.
Will you consider withdrawing the word primitive politics?
Okay. Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence, I have done so. But Mr. Speaker, I think I have to make myself clearer here. I am not even speaking against one side. I am talking about actions and inactions, omissions and behaviors that are dwindling the very reputation of this House. We've been doing this to ourselves for far too long. Now, every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, even if you are driving Land Cruiser, they think you're a politician. Whether NDC MPP, they don't respect us. And this is why I'm bringing it to our attention, that do we allow yesterday's propaganda or actions or omissions to continue to keep on destroying the very image and reputation of this August House? Is that what we want to do? This is the question I'm asking. Mr. Speaker, are we teaching the younger generation what we are doing today? Mr. Speaker, what does the Constitution say? Article 18, Clause 2, with your permission. A, no one shall be subjected to the interference of his private home and properties. Has that happened or not? The very Constitution that we ourselves, the very laws that we ourselves made, we are undermining the same laws because of politics. We should not sit here and because of politics forget the fact that the same Ken Ofori-Atta made your family members have free school. Your nephews, your children, your aunties, your friends, your mosque members, your church members. But for Ken Ofori-Atta, they would have been home. Let us stop these things against either NDC or MPP. Let us maintain our reputations as a house. Let us believe in one fact that we are one people with a common destiny as a country. All these things we must stop. That is what I mean. Yesterday's politics we should forget because we are destroying each other. And we call ourselves honorable members. We all deserve that. But please, Mr. Speaker, what I'm trying to tell the House is that sometimes, because of politics, we say these things, we think we are joking. But those out there, they believe in what we say and they disrespect all of us. Let us protect each other. Let us keep the dignity of this House intact and portray to the people out there that, yes, we have changed. Mr. Speaker, I am ending by telling each and everyone, especially my brothers and sisters from the other side, to repent. To repent. These behaviors must be stopped. We don't do that to ourselves. Look at Honorable Agoja, very respectable. Our leader, respectable. We are all respectable members. But because of politics, as you call you thief, you are this, you are that. And when you go out there, you want people to respect us. I think this should be the last time for all of us. Let us show love and constructive discussions. Constructive conflict. Conflict C-type, not A-type.
All members conclude.
Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I would like to re-emphasize the point that Ken Ofori-Atta, until proven guilty by court of competent jurisdiction, cannot be described and defined as somebody who is criminal. Thank you very much.
Abusia adwumapa on demand service for na ekase adwumapa on demand for say o pese wo di dwuma bia nkankanga fo am wabrochire a obehia nipa didi so ya tilers anasa building constructors fashion designers chese auto mechanic bia wo pese wo di sa adwuma bia ma no obekọ ye app no so na wa download adwumapa on demand service ayesa so abekọ www.adwumapa-on-demand-service eno so bekọ ko hu adwumadi e di nyina ni trimopo nyina ne se ye boawo ema wo kwakofo obi ana wodi dwuma bi a nipa a wo kwakofa no esansa wonnim na kira kwan bia nti no to bi kura nipa na gisika wie wo pen he na hu no adwumapa on demand fo aba ama sa ha nyina afiri ho esansa obi bia ya de be ma so woni dwuma bia ma no ya ye background checks ehu se se nipa yi onim ne wo ye enye kwanche trefa ni bia wonim de wo ye ene ye fa no edna ma wo na ni gisamba ko omu ne se onipa bia de be ma wo a odi be di dwuma bia no sabe background no sem anase si ebu afa so pa dia enya de besi na wan so san nim se sabe ko soja mumpo a ye wo military police ono so soja ni ochi soja ni eno me kire mu se eye adwumapa on demand for no ye san so supervisors a abre nyina no omko rounds eko check se adwuma na nipa no de bedan ye no sa pepepe ene ye no na se adwumapa on demand de omama adwuma no aye simple se bibi ni ena onte ase ampacho no wafa numbers no aye gusuo no no wafre